This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.
Good evening. Welcome to the Glazov Gang. Tonight, moronic questions after Brussels. Our guest this evening, back by popular demand, Nonie Darwish, the author of The Devil We Don't Know. Nonie Darwish, welcome back to the Glazov Gang.
Oh, my pleasure, Jamie. Welcome back to YouTube.
Thank you, Nonie. Moronic questions after Brussels. You know, Nonie, not that I'm the only one noticing this. I'm just saying that, I was observing the media after Brussels, and it looks like there's a template ever since 9/11. And no matter what people like you explain, what Robert Spencer explains, what Steve Emerson explains, or Andy McCarthy explains, what the truth tellers are explaining goes in one ear and out the other, and the media, our higher literary culture, our culture overall, just continues saying the same things. So what I mean is, but it's not all Muslims, right? But this was a very tiny minority. But it's not really all of Islam, or this wasn't really Islam. It's the same dialogue, the same distorted picture. All of these questions have absolutely nothing to do with the real issue. What do you think about how our media and our culture refuse to learn the lesson every time after a jihadist attack?
When I spoke to my friends in Egypt after 9/11, these are the moderate Muslims. They represent the moderate Muslims. And this was their reaction. Well, we lived with terror in the Muslim world all our lives. Let them taste it. Let them get a taste of it. This is how, and I think the West already got that. The people who are actually making the agenda for Western media, in my opinion, is moderate Muslims. Moderate Muslims, Arab media, Saudi Arabia, is feeding Western media what to tell people, how to almost put them in a coma. Obama's telling us it's not an existential threat, so what? If every month there is a bunch of Americans or Europeans killed, I think if another 9/11 happens, I think the media will hypnotize us again.
Yeah.
I think there is a much larger, I don't want to say conspiracy, but there is some forces that is trying to make us accept it as the new norm.
Yeah, well, Nonie, you're absolutely right, and I want to get to that because that's crucial, what you're saying. Stephen Coughlin's new book, for instance, Catastrophic Failure, I mean, it documents the Muslim Brotherhood's penetration of our government, of our culture, of our society, and how the Muslim Brotherhood is actually framing our dialogue and framing the foreign policy of the United States. I mean, it's just a catastrophe. But let's get just very quickly even to these superficial, stupid, moronic questions and discussions that we have every time after a jihadist attack. And it continues. But it's not all Muslims, right? I mean, they're still asking this. Nonie, we have explained a million times. There are millions of Muslims, obviously, that are peaceful, that are secular, that reject jihad, etc., etc. This has nothing to do with how many or all. It's irrelevant. The issue is that there is Islamic law, there is Islamic doctrine that mandates Islamic jihad. And therefore it is a problem because there are those Muslims who follow it. Every time this is explained, it goes in one ear and out the other, and they continue with how it's not all Muslims.
I think people who are starting to just insist on this theory, not all Muslims, I think they are now at the point where it's becoming ridiculous, because if you apply that to Germany, not all Japanese people have done the attack on Pearl Harbor, so why should we attack Japan? Or, Hitler, not all Germans did that to us, so why attack Germany? Not all Germans killed the Jews. Are you trying to tell me that all Germans went and actually killed Jews? So this logic is so defective and so intentional. I think people who say that are intentionally trying to take us like sheep to our slaughterhouse. Yes. And if we open our mouth, we are we're bad and we're falling for it. The problem is the West is falling to it. The reason they keep saying it, because somebody in the audience is buying this illogic. We have brought up generations in America on shaming and fear of being called names, and this is the beginning of tyranny, of just being scared of being called names. And I come from a culture that really, I lived for 30 years of my life in the Middle East, just scared of being called names because I was part of that culture. And that's what they count on, is to scare you and keep you quiet. And I think the West is actually falling into that trap. This is not unique to Islam only. It's any tyranny. They start with shaming and then punishing people who do who are shamed, and setting them as an example, and that's what's happening in America. I mean, look at the Indian producer who was in jail. I mean, they set him as an example to all of us. What's his name? He's doing a movie again on Hillary now. They're trying to scare us. So this is so familiar. This is tyranny, and they are silencing us in such a scary way. And I don't know what to say.
Yes, Nonie, absolutely. And there is, as I said, there's these mantras that have almost been, and have been handed to us. And we know that the Muslim Brotherhood front groups, CARE, ISNA, MSA, I mean, just as the explanatory memorandum had revealed, that they are constantly, 24/7, working with this brainwashing and with all their tactics to frame our language in order to destroy our civilization from within by our own hands. Muhammad Ali Biari, a Muslim Brotherhood supporter that was in the government. He was on the Department of Homeland Security Advisory Council for several years. He has actually boasted that the penetration by the Muslim Brotherhood of the government is irreversible. The media does not talk about these things.
Obama is going to, before he leaves, he's going to make sure that he fills our government and our all the agencies with Muslims that it's going to be very hard to take out Muslim Brotherhood. And they're not Middle Eastern people like ordinary Middle Eastern people. These are hardcore, agenda-driven Muslims.
Right. Nonie, you're on the front lines of this terror war, of the culture war. You come from behind enemy lines, one could say. You grew up in a Sharia environment. You know what all of this is. You've made brave decisions in your own life to leave Islam, so you know what's going on. What are you thinking these days? What is the state of your emotional, spiritual perspective on this war and how the tide is very strongly against freedom-loving people?
I think what scares me the most is Western leadership, whether it's in Europe, in Canada, in America, it's everywhere. There is no leadership. And something is working out there. A strong hand that is electing maybe the right people, that's on the side of Islam. I have no doubt that that force was behind the first person we elect after 9/11. First person is his name rhymes with Osama. This is this proves to us that terrorism works on the human psyche. Terrorism works on choices, and I think 9/11 worked on the American people and is working in Europe with every terror attack. Muslims know that. Every terror attack they do in Europe, they go and explode with candles and flags and flowers and crying and mourning, and that's it. And that's it. And they go keep electing the same people. And I think there is something in the Western psyche that is very dysfunctional right now. I cannot blame Islam totally, because Islam does what Islam has been doing for 1400 years. And Islam was stopped at the gates of Vienna by the will of the West at that time to stand up for their culture, for their Judeo-Christian culture, for their freedoms, for their way of life. And I think the gates of Vienna are crumbling, and they're tired. And maybe they're tired of freedom. Freedom needs persistent. It's freedom to be respected. It's not the natural state of human beings. It has to be constantly maintained. And I think this generation in the West is tired of maintaining it, and it's associating it with being racist. So maintaining your culture, maintaining your freedom. Somebody has infected Western culture with the idea that if you want to maintain your democracy and your freedom from being invaded by tyranny, you become an automatic racist. And they buy it. Americans buy it. And the media keeps enforcing this idea, which associates freedom lovers with racists.
Absolutely, Nonie. Thank you for your profound words, words of wisdom. You've often stressed very, very powerfully how these totalitarian forces are quote-unquote shaming Americans, and it's working. And there's also been the racialization of Islam, which is just so bizarre, because I've tried to figure out whether Islam is a race or not, and I still, it's an ideology.
Even so if it's a race. No race has the right to do terrorism, and I don't care if you're black, white, Chinese, Middle Eastern, any human being, because race really is just it's a person's race is just the package that we come in this world. Inside it is a human being, and to allow somebody's package to do things that's not allowed by someone else's package is a joke. No one has the right to kill, and then I'm too scared to say that this person and his culture. If a culture is pure based on a race, then I can speak against a certain culture, if it happened to be of the same race. But Islam is not of the same race. If you go to Mecca during the Hajj, you'll find whites, you'll find blacks, you'll find everything in between.
And for some reason, it's very interesting then that when people criticize ex-Muslims, somehow they're not being racist. The only people that are racist are the people that might criticize Islam. They're somehow racist. But if you criticize ex-Muslims who are non-white, then you're not racist.
You remember, they have no compassion to us. We're living under death threats. They had no compassion for Rivka Berry, a little girl, 17 years old, who was threatened to be killed, honor killed by her family because she became Christian. So we are living here in fear in America, and who is being treated like the victim, it's practicing Muslims. And who's treated like the villains? It's us who are speaking for our own protection.
Thank you very much, Nonie. We have run out of time. It is always an honor and a privilege to have you here.
My pleasure, Jamie. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Nonie, and thank you for what you're doing. We'll see you again soon. Our viewers, get Nonie Darwish's book, The Devil We Don't Know, and stay tuned because rumor has it a new book is coming out by Nonie Darwish in the near future. And thank you for watching the Glazov Gang. Make sure to remember we are a fan-generated show. Please support us at jamieglazov.com and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel of the Glazov Gang. We'll see you on our next edition. Good night.
This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.